Good evening. I'd like to call the study session to order. This is a study session for Monday, March the 13th, 2023 at 6 p.m. At this point in time, I will turn it over to our city administrator, Mr. Jim Clifford.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. For this evening, we'll really be covering two items specifically. One is the agenda for the City Council meeting next Monday, March 20th, and then we'll also be going into department details. Based on the absence of the mayor, we are going to forego any of the mayor's matters this particular week. So with that, I'll go ahead right into the council meeting agenda, if that is okay by you. So we have a number of items on our agenda that are old business, that are a number of annexations. So if you look on your handout, items number 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 are all linked, and these are ordinances number 2023-03 through 2023-07, and these are all annexations to change the corporate limits of the city of North Augusta for properties that are on East Buena Vista, both in the north and south side of that road. The reason they are in the particular order that they are is in order to be contiguous, you have to annex contiguous to the city and work our way out. So that's why the batting order is the way it is. I know we've had some discussion about this at a previous study session, and also you had the first reading of this the previous week. So I'll pause for any questions by council members for under old business items 6 through 10. Hearing none, I'll move into new business. And I will turn this over to Rachel Moody to talk through items number 11 and 12.
Thank you. Item 11, we have a resolution for your review and approval so that we can enter into a contract, a professional services agreement with a company who can help us to best promote ourselves digitally through a digital marketing campaign. You may remember in December, our PRT department received a $15,000 grant from the competitive ATAX grant process. We are matching that grant with another 15 from ATAX that we have otherwise in-house, designed specifically for marketing and promotions. Advanced Travel and Tourism was the company that won the proposal. We had 11 submitted proposals, plus 2 others who submitted, but they weren't complete. So there was a lot of interest in this particular project.
Have they worked with other cities or done this before?
Yep, that's their bread and butter, is working with DMOs. I believe the D is for direct marketing organizations, cities like us, to help promote ourselves.
What's the turnaround time?
It's my understanding that they're ready to go. In fact, they're just waiting on our approval to sign the agreement so they can get going.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Rachel, what would the gist of the campaign be? Do we know yet? I mean, I know it's obviously digital related, but what are we looking at?
And Rick may have some additional information, but it's likely determining the best target areas for us to reach. These particular monies are designed for folks who live more than 50 miles away from us. And so looking at the demographics of the various communities, understanding the types of demographics that we're trying to reach, advertising on various social media sites, that sort of thing. Stuff that, knowledge that we don't have, the data that we don't have, and they have buying power that we don't have either, in the connections.
Thank you.
The intent is to drive traffic to our visit northaugustasc.com. That will ultimately be their destination when they visit our stuff.
I guess the ultimate goal on something like this is, for instance, if I go on the internet and search, weekend getaways for, is that similar to what it is, or is it, more gear driven towards, hey, host your basketball event here, or is it just, a little bit of everything?
A little bit of everything. It's all the above.
Are we still planning a launch for our website, or did I miss that already?
You've not missed such an event. We have a couple things up our sleeves, a couple smaller events that we'd like to launch in conjunction with this particular campaign, and some other new fun things that will likely just become incorporated into that.
if you have the opportunity, there is a program that WRDW did on, it's a aerial virtual view of this region. And North Augusta's on that, especially SRP Park. Today was the first time they promoted it, so just look at their website
Okay, I'll
for
check
some
that.
ideas.
All right, moving on to the next item, we have a resolution for your review and approval so that the city may enter into a lease agreement with the North Augusta Chamber of Commerce. You should have the lease and the resolution at your dais. It was not in the packet. If you remember, in December, the president and CEO of the chamber came to a study session and shared thoughts and proposals with you all about the co-location of the chamber offices at our community center. Staff is in full support of it, and we've been working with chamber staff to come up with the best terms and conditions possible for both agencies. You all are seeing a draft tonight, so if there are any changes that need to be made on either side, on the city side or the chamber side, those changes will be made this week, and then we'll note them on Monday at the city council meeting. Although, knock on wood, I don't anticipate any changes. This is a 3-year agreement. It is a rental agreement, so the chamber will provide either on a monthly basis or an annual basis rent for the space that they're using. They'll also assist with paying for a cleaning company for the facility. What they will utilize is what we currently have, a small boardroom, incredibly underutilized. It's a larger size than an office, but a little too small for anything meaningful for rental. And so city staff will build a wall to turn that boardroom into 2 offices that the chamber will utilize primarily. And then in the back hallway, the smaller of the 2 conference rooms will be taken off the rental books and will be turned into an executive style boardroom where the chamber will be able to store their things and have items on display. And so will the city and our tourism department. It'll be a fantastic way for, if our tourism department wants to meet with any companies or any festivals that want to come into town, it's a nice professional space for them to meet in. But likewise, the chamber will have that as well as they're meeting with their own businesses. I don't know if they're called clients, members, members of the chamber. So the chamber will have 2 full-time employees on staff to supplement the 3 that we have.
Questions?
Yeah, just first off, I support it. I mean, I think it's a great use of the space and puts a good tenant in there that really already works with the city. But just out of curiosity, do we know the amount of rent that will be foregoing by not having those spaces available, typically on an annual basis?
We currently, and Rick is welcome to come up and speak. He knows the ins and outs a lot better, but this really is an advantageous deal for the
I think
city.
the best answer is their rent money will be more than we're currently getting.
Well, I figured that was the case. Just wanted to confirm that. And even if I think the value they bring is more than just the rent payment. So again, I support it. I don't have any issues. Just wanted to clarify that. Thanks, Rick.
Yes.
Rick, before you leave, are we looking at having our tourism guy down there, especially once they move in, to kind of intermingle, or is he still back and forth between the rec center, or any plans for that?
Oh, no, absolutely. And one of the biggest things we gain is, that Rachel already mentioned, was coverage of the building. That allows for our staff, including our tourism guy, to not always have to be sitting there trying to occupy the community center building. So, this is a win-win for us.
Anyone else? Before Ms. Carroll, I'd like for you to come and address this, please.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any comments on this?
Oh, no, we've gone through this pretty thoroughly over several meetings, so I know our team is excited. It's a downsize for us. I've been at the chamber, this is my 11th year, So going from a space that we kind of called our own to sharing with 3 other people is going to be a little different for us, but we're excited about the opportunity to really be in a space, one, that gives the chamber more exposure to people that are coming to events over at the community center, but also being able to support the city's team so they're not sitting in a space just waiting on somebody to show up. You know, if we're there, we can, you know, assist in talking about the facilities and, you know, assisting them instead of them having to kind of sit when they can be other places. And then it just gives us access to space when we have events that we're not trucking stuff up and down the road. So we're really excited about that, so we can set up ahead of time and have everything done and just kind of show up when it's time to have the event. So we're thrilled about that.
Well, I think it's a good move. I know many years ago, we talked about, when Charles Martin was the administrator, we talked about having the chamber to become a part of the city of North Augusta. We never came to terms, but so we went a different route and just started supporting more and more of the chamber functions through Parks and Rec. I'm glad you're going to be there.
Well, we appreciate the opportunity and also working with Randy on his tourism aspects, because that's one element that wasn't necessarily the chamber function, but had become a chamber function, us dealing with folks visiting the area, you know, when they come in to visit, needing brochures and having, you know, Randy right there with us. I think that's going to be a great partnership in serving visitors to the area as well.
And I hope your traffic picks up because parking, excuse me, because you have so much more parking there.
Absolutely.
It's
And, you know, we have a
easy.
large team of volunteers
Yes.
with our chamber, so that gives us adequate space so we don't have to go out in the community looking for space to have just our regular meetings. So really, truly excited about that. So
Thank you. We're
we thank
excited
you all
about
for
it.
the opportunity.
We're excited about it. Any other comments? Thank you.
Last on our agenda is item number 13, resolution number 2023-13, authorization for city administrator to execute a sale of real property on Riverside Boulevard. First, I'd like to state is I usually learn by doing, so what I learned by doing is that it's not a resolution. It's going to be a ordinance because the property sale requires that. So we'll be changing the title of this from a resolution to an ordinance for the first reading. And as we've done some more research on this, we're well within our parameters. We had done an assessment of the property, and that was the minimum bid that we advertised for, and we have a winning bid, which is above the appraised value. And so that's what I'll be bringing back to council for consideration as an ordinance for the sale of those 3 properties bundled together for one property sale. But I'll pause for any questions by the council.
Jim, just to remind anybody that's watching, this is the 3 parcels down at Riverside Boulevard in Buena Vista, is that correct?
There is a lovely metal bridge sitting on the properties that we are going to be selling, and so that's the property. So it's the easiest way to identify it currently is if you go down East Buena Vista, Riverside Boulevard, you can look over and see the bridge there, and that's the property we're talking about.
Do we have something in our contract, you know, if that's, you know, because we got to have 2 readings, I'm assuming, to enact this, but if we're not ready for the bridge yet, do we have something in there so we can keep the bridge there until we get, you know, that going?
So we know the winning bidder. It will kind of factor that into our negotiations. I was targeting a closing date of on or about 1 June, which would give DPW time to get the bridge settled with the contract they're embarking on.
What was the original appraised value, just as a refresher?
Well, for citizens at home, the Aiken County GIS tax map reflects those 3 parcels as about $223,000. We went to a fair market value appraiser and appraised those 3 properties at $390,000, and the winning bid was $391,100.
Thank you.
You did good.
Linda did good because she got that all put together for me. So. Subject to any questions on the agenda?
Jim, just
Yes, sir.
I guess a procedural question. So will they come to us post-sale for, because obviously the property is currently P, right? It'll have to be rezoned. Will that happen after the sale, or would that be, the sale be contingent upon?
We're going to still have to structure that. I don't believe it's going to be contingent, but ultimately, knowing the folks that bid on this property, they have adjoining property, and so they've already had meetings with our planning and development crew about what those options would look like, and we're supportive of those actions. So
Okay.
I think anything we do in front of the planning commission is going to be supported by city staff.
Perfect, thank you.
Can we sell it with a P zoning? I don't think we've ever had that come up. Just wanted to make sure.
Kelly says yes. All right, subject to any other questions, I'll go ahead and move us into department details, and Linda will lead us off with finance.
Good evening. Wednesday and Thursday of this week, we will have a disconnect for our Cycle 1 customers, and then our Cycle 2 customers will have a due date on Monday, March 20th. And that is all I have for y'all tonight.
Rachel's going to cover down on public services.
Happy to announce that the City of North Augusta was awarded the Tree City USA for 2022. The award is always in arrears, so I don't know exactly what year in a row this is for us, but it's many, and we're proud of our property maintenance folks for helping us to achieve that. Property maintenance will also be conducting sidewalk maintenance on Martintown Road. They'll be performing edging and degrassing the sidewalks, trying to make our entryways into the city beautiful for all the visitors that will be descending upon us.
Next up, we have Tommy Paradise from Planning and Development.
Wednesday night will be the planning commission, and at this planning commission, they will have the public hearing for the revised development code. And that is available on the website for all those people at home.
Next up, Chief Thomas, Public Safety.
Just three things to cover tonight. I mentioned this before, but we'll have the second part, which is phase 2 of our physicals for all our public safety officers and firefighters next week. And we currently have a public safety officer that will graduate the State Law Enforcement Academy on Friday that we'll send people to and try to attend. And then tomorrow I'll have the conditional hearing with planning in regards to public safety. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Rick Meyer from PRT.
Ribbon cutting for the new Greenway extension from Woodstone to Mayfield Drive will be Friday, March 24th at noon. I want to thank Property Maintenance for the landscaping work, Streets and Drains for the installation of the Greenway sign. The new extension, as you know, is a little over 1/10 of a mile, but the best part about it is it provides connectivity towards the North Augusta Country Club property. My second item, spring sports valuations and drafts are coming to a complete end here, and our staff is preparing for the season to begin the week of March 27th. We have a total number of 1,491 participants. I believe we'll probably pass 1,500 by the end of this week. So busy time for our staff. And a reminder again to the community, I can't stress this enough, and to you, you'll get a schedule from us, to please take the opportunity to participate in the PRT Master Plan Survey. It's available online at the City of North Augusta website, or if you come by the Riverview Park Activity Center or the Municipal Center or Community Center, you can take the survey with a hard copy. And a reminder that the public open house workshop is next Tuesday, March 21st, 5:30 to 7 in the North Augusta Community Center.
And Rick, any news on the Riverview Village little connector? Those people, every time I go, somebody asks me.
Yes, the only news I can give you is we've reached out to different folks on ways to try to complete that task. I'm waiting on a price any day now to potentially maybe put a gangway type connector, just a way to get them across that creek. So,
Because some of them are jumping on over it, coming on.
yeah,
So,
now we're aware of that. All we can do is board it up and tell them not to, but yeah, they use it anyway.
most of them are senior citizens in that area, and that's just an easy way to get to walk
Well, it is. Now,
versus getting in their car, driving, parking, and
one thing I do want to mention about whatever we do, I think in the past some folks have used golf carts to cross that, and that's not going to be the case going forward. Thank you.
Gonna build a parking lot for them?
Yeah.
Thanks, Rick. Next up, we have Tom Caesar from Public Works.
So after a false start a couple weeks ago on the Bluff Avenue streetscape, our contractor advises that they do expect to be on site this week installing some signage, erosion control, and actually begin tree removals, the clearing associated with that work. And also our public utilities division will be hopefully working later this week to be relocating some water services that are in conflict with some of that work. And so there may be intermittent lane closures while they perform those water service relocations, as well as some disruption to services to the affected residences. And then I also just wanted to mention last week, the Public Works Department, in conjunction with the public services, some of the public services divisions, made an effort to clean up the lower end of Georgia Avenue across the bridge into Augusta. A number of different things were done. Property maintenance gave the palm trees in the median a nice high and tight haircut, as well as just other general landscaping. There was litter collection. The sidewalk was swept off across the bridge, and some enhanced street sweeping. Storm inlets were cleaned out, and some damaged street signs were removed along the bridge. So anyway, all those things would have happened at some point anyway, but it's just nice when there's a coordinated effort among different departments to do it all at once. It just seems to have a much greater impact. So I just wanted to point that out, that enhancement to one of our gateways also.
Tom, I don't really have a question necessarily, just now that it's springtime. I notice those entrances more and more when I leave my neighborhood every day, and I just want to commend you and that whole staff, because our entryways into our city are beautiful compared to many other places. So, it does make me proud to live here when I see that. So I just wanted to give y'all an attaboy and a kudos, because it looks great.
Right. Definitely a group effort. Thank you.
Thank you.
Last but not least, JD for HR.
Good evening. Just wanted to remind everyone, we'll be at Aiken Tech with Public Safety's recruitment team. Aiken Tech has a job fair Wednesday, March 22nd from 11 to 2. And then also, if folks out in the community are interested, we have a lot of really great entry-level positions advertised on the website at northaugusta.sc.gov/jobs.
I just have one alibi for the council, which is that the Chamber of Commerce has extended an invitation for a ribbon cutting this Wednesday, the 15th of March at 10 a.m. for the self-storage location at Exit 5. I know a number of you all are planning on going. Just wanted to remind you and our citizens that if you're available, feel free to come on out and see a new, exciting business out there in Exit 5. And also on that note, I drove by the new car wash on Martintown Road today, Moby's, which is open. So it's good to see new businesses popping up and thriving here in town. And Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, subject to any of your questions, that's all I have from the staff this evening.
Thank you. Anything from council? One thing for Miss Rachel, Lexington also has a Freddy's hamburger, steak burger place. Just opened about 2 weeks ago.
When is ours opening?
No idea.
Tommy, you know?
Nothing else to come before council. We stand adjourned.